Thanks to everyone who have subscribed. If you have not, please do. And thanks for coming out here. I really appreciate you. Buhari gets 14 days deadline to probe 300 billion missing funds. Can you believe that, Nigeria? You know, it's only Nigeria, yes? I'm just overwhelmed by this. It's only in Nigeria, yes, that snake can come out of the bush and swallow money. Monkey can come out of the tree, can jump out of the tree and carry money. President Muhammadu Buhari's government started on transparency. On the back that they were fighting corruption. But guess what? Newsflash. This is one of the most corrupt governments we have in the country. When you are in APC, if you like, steal heaven and hell, all your sins are pardoned. You are a brand new person. But be in any other party and have a little bit of stain on you, APC will capitalize on it and you'll be facing, they'll put the dog on you, EFCC, to chase you down the drain. That's what happens in Nigeria. What are we hearing? President Muhammadu Buhari has been given the mandate of a 14-day probe to explain to Nigerians what has happened to 300 billion missing fund. How can money be missing? Where did he go to? Which legs? Which hands? How did he come about? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time we're reaching you today. We want to say thank you for your huge, massive, and continuous support. If you have not given us a thumbs up, this would be a good time to do so. Why not go ahead and give us a thumbs up? Thank you. And don't forget to subscribe. Can you imagine? The president of the country is in more troubles because he's been given a deadline of 14 days to tell Nigerians what happened to 300 billions. There are children that went to bed last night without food. How can you walk on you are walking, the very ground you are walking is oil, yet you are living in abject poverty? That is the case of Nigeria. Guys, I'm just very upset with this news right now. It's breaking. We just got the news. We just got the news report. But let's just go into the news and get all the details. Buhari gets 14 days deadline to probe 300 missing fund. President Muhammadu Buhari has been issued ultimatum to instigate probe into the missing public fund. This money is meant for road. This money is meant for health care. Doctors are on strike. People are dying. Let's get into the news, my dear. I'm just so upset, honestly, seriously speaking. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari has been issued 14-day ultimatum to probe over 300 billion missing fund or have his government face readiness in courts. The ultimatum was given by the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project. The body is asking Muhammadu Buhari to direct the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami-San, to approach the Anti-Corruption Agency for urgent investigation allegations over 300 billion missing funds. Mismanagement, diversion, or stolen documents in 2017. Audit reports of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, guys, we'll continue with the news. I just want to explain something here. So, the audit report of 2017. So, in 2017, the audit of Nigeria came up that 300 billion, my dear listener, 300 billion of the nation's economy, the money for public fund. Now, money for public fund is money that can be used for roads, schools, healthcare, public fund, education, different, aspects to better the economy and the life of the people. Yes, was found to be missing. And guess what? Since then, Muhammadu Buhari has kept a deaf ear like he has not heard anything. No. So he's been given a 14-day ultimatum, or they are taking Buhari's administration to court. You are saying him and Attorney General, are they not the same birds of a feather? What is this? What is said about birds of a feather? They flock together. Have you watched, what's it called? Wildlife. Don't you see that same kind of animal, same fish species, they all move together? So what are you talking about? Let's continue with the news. It also urged him to ask Mr. Malami, that's Attorney General, and the Anti-Corruption Agency to promptly investigate the extent and patterns of widespread and epidemic corruption in the ministers, departments, agencies, indicted in the audit report. So ministers were found to misappropriate funds. Nigeria, this is very upsetting. Why I'm saying this is because you need to go through some roads in some states. You'll be amazed that is this Nigeria. You know, when you travel abroad, when you have opportunity to travel abroad and you are talking to the taxi drivers, the cab drivers, you know what they say? When you say Nigeria, so yeah, it's like oil country. You produce oil. Oh, it will be like Dubai. Your country must be very rich and everything. But it's an irony. Reverse is the case. They said ministers, agencies that were indicted in the audit report. We urge you to take meaningful and effective measure to clean up the misappropriation and the system of corruption that this government is seriously immersed in. In the letter dated 4th of June 2020, 4th of July, I beg your pardon, 2020, and signed by SIRAP Deputy Director Kolawole, the organizer, said in 2017, audit report reveals gross allegations of mismanagement, diversion, stealing of public funds, as well as unaccounted for spending. The report suggests a grave violation of the public trust, and that indicted the MDs and the National Assembly lack effectiveness, credibility, internal process to prevent and combat corruption. Don't forget that Buhari started this administration saying that they were fighting corruption. They will remove fuel subsidy. What is fuel subsidies? Is this, is that? What are we experiencing today? According to CIRAP, the investigation and prosecution and agencies granted corruption documents by the AGFs would improve the chances of success to our government, repeated commitments to fight corruption, and end the impunity of constant stealing. It would improve the integrity of the MDs serving the public interest, as well as improve Nigerian accountability accounts of public service goods. SIRAP said any failure to promptly investigate the allegations and prosecution of suspected predators would breach the Nigerian anti-corruption legal, including the Public Prosecution Act, 1999 Nigerian Constitution as amended, and the country obligations including under the UN Convention Against Corruption and the International Convention on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, to which Nigeria is a state party. The letter reads in part, it would also mean that Nigeria is failing to fulfill the obligation under the convention to use its maximum available resources to progressively utilize and benefit the economy and the social life welfare of the Nigerian general public people service. Also, the quality of education, healthcare, clean water, regular electricity supply, as well as the right to honest public service. SIRAP has also carefully analyzed 2017 audit reports by the AGF. An analysis revealed the following findings: allegement of mismanagement, diversion, stealing of public funds, as well as unaccounted spending. The Federal Civil Service Commission spent 25 billion 857 million 279,000 on behalf of Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs to develop online recruitment for April 2014, without any supporting memo from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, without due process being followed, and nothing was seen by the Nigerian public. But this amount was signed that was for what purpose it was used for, but never actualized. So, who is with 25 billion? The commission granted cash advance of total 8 billion 590 million 25,000 to officers. Who are they for? Between February and December 2016, but failed to account for that money as it was not traced. It could not be found where this money later went into. We are urging President Muhammadu Buhari and the Attorney General of Nigeria to quickly get in place and make sure that the accounts of Nigeria is looked into and balanced. This is gross misappropriation of public fund. Nigerians, see, if you know what is really going on in this country, you will bleed, oh. You will bleed. I know what I'm talking about. You will bleed. You will cry for this nation, and you will just be drinking Panadol for another man's headache. What can we do but pray? And also, when it's time to vote, vote in good leaders. God will help us. So is a slippery slope, but we'll get there at the end. So please, take heart. It is well. 300 billion. And yet they said there is no money for healthcare. There is no money for development of schools. You are sending your children abroad. There is God. Have a lovely day, my people. God bless you.